Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk to you about the season premiere of Star Trek Prodigy Season 2. Now, I say season premiere because the first two episodes were called Into the Breach Part 1 and Into the Breach Part 2. So kind of like a dual episode opener for the season. But the remaining 18 episodes of the season are also released. It's just that, of course, I haven't seen them all yet. And of course, even if I had, there's no way I was going to do a video on all 20 episodes at once. So I'm starting with the first two, and then we'll see how I get to the other ones. But anyway, the premiere episodes of the season were called Into the Breach Part 1 and Into the Breach Part 2. And I'm going to give you a breakdown and review of both of those. As Part 1 starts, our heroes, namely Dal, Rok-Tahk, Zero, Jacob, and Murph, find themselves in different locations in the pre-Starfleet Academy Cadet Hopeful School, or whatever it is, as they each get a message from Admiral Janeway inviting them to join her among the stars. When they see each other again for the first time in a while, they celebrate the reunion a bit, but lament the fact that Gwyn isn't there. A shuttle soon arrives to pick them up, and it's piloted by the Doctor from Voyager, whom our heroes are surprised to learn can exist off of the ship. Apparently, Janeway wants our heroes to help her on a mission to observe a new wormhole to determine whether it's a threat or not. And it happens to be the wormhole out of which Starfleet received a signal from Chakotay 52 years in the future. And it turns out that there's a brand new starship, Voyager, that Janeway is the captain of. Jacob is assigned to engineering. Murph is let loose on the holodeck, where he can practice security drills. Zero is assigned to sickbay. Rok-Tahk is assigned to cetacean ops. And Dal is assigned to study command protocols with some not-so-light reading. Speaking of Dal, he's frustrated with his new role as a command student versus being in command of a ship himself. He has a video call with Gwyn, who is about to arrive on her homeworld, and who is also a bit nervous about it. And there's a conversation about what happens if she prevents the disastrous future ahead of it. Because remember, that was a catalyst for her father going back in time and creating her, and for them finding the ship and all that stuff. And it was funny because she tries to point out to him, the past is the past, it's immutable. And Dal says, oh, all this timey-wimey stuff gives me a headache or something like that, which is kind of a Doctor Who reference. Anyway, Zero overhears a call between the Doctor and the Admiral and realizes that there's something about their mission that Janeway hasn't been forthcoming about. So when Zero tells the others, they decide to go sneaking around the ship to see if they can discover what exactly is being kept so hush-hush. But Rok-Tahk decides not to risk getting in trouble by sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. The rest of the group soon finds a cloaked ship inside an unlisted shuttle bay, which with, it would seem, Janeway was originally ordered to investigate the wormhole before her orders were retracted by Admiral Picard, who doesn't want to lose any more officers the way Chakotay and his crew were lost by being hasty about approaching the wormhole. And that's where Part 1 ended. The next episode, Into the Breach Part 2, starts with Gwen arriving by shuttle to Solum for her first contact mission, which she undertakes quite boldly by beaming right into a town square and announcing herself before she's taken before the planet's elders, where she finds that her arrival was foretold by a future version of Essentia, the Essentia she knows from last season, who denounces her as a dangerous spy before she's ordered taken into custody. But she manages to escape being grabbed before witnessing the destruction of the shuttle she arrived on at the hands of a Solum warship. Upon arriving at the wormhole, Janeway is contacted by some kind of entity that tells her not to enter the wormhole. Dal overhears this whole scene from an overhead duct before falling onto the bridge, and when he reveals that he knows about the undisclosed shuttle bay, Janeway orders a meeting between herself and our heroes. Gwyn, on the run from authorities on the streets of Solum, somehow senses and then seeks out the younger version of her father and introduces herself, much to his surprise. Janeway shows our heroes a recovered video recording made by Chakotay in the future, depicting how he sent the protostar back through time to keep it from being taken over, before swearing our heroes to secrecy, because she knows that if it's discovered that she is still continuing the mission, things could get ugly. Gwen explains to her father who she is and what she's doing there, and he's all too delighted to help her, which he does, by explaining that she can undergo a certain dangerous ritual not undertaken in millennia to gain the trust of the people. Our heroes accidentally reveal to a Vulcan member of Nova Squadron named Majel of course, a take on Majel Barrett's name, that there's a restricted shuttle bay, and she goes to investigate, prompting them to have to get there before her and somehow relocate the cloaked ship so that she doesn't find it. But they're unsuccessful, and a confrontation ensues, resulting in the shuttle's pre-programmed automated wormhole infiltration mission being executed with our heroes and their new Vulcan friend aboard. And that's where the second episode ended. So I'm so glad that the show got a second season and that we're getting to see it. It was touch and go there for a while. We didn't know if we were going to get to see it, but thank goodness it's here. This show had a great first season. I'm really in love with this show. And the season premiere did not disappoint. It's still got all the same heart that it had in season one. It's still got all the same fun that it had in season one. And, the animation is fantastic. So I really liked it. The crew is off on a new adventure. This time they're not running from the authorities or having to hide out. So I like that part a lot. I'm intrigued by this new Vulcan character, Majel. I want to see where that goes and how she gels with the regular cast of our heroes. It's great to have the Doctor, Robert Picardo, on the show. I'm tickled pink that we're getting to see Gwen this season. I didn't think we were going to, because the way they left it at the end of season one made it seem like we weren't going to see her, but we are seeing her. And I think the story that plays out with her and her dad is going to be one of, if not the best story arcs of the season, because remember, this is her dad before he turned evil, and this is her father like she never knew him. And just to get to see John Noble play that out is going to be awesome, because John Noble's fantastic. But I think there's going to really be some heartfelt stuff there and some thought-provoking stuff there. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping to see Gwen and Dahl's relationship deepen. I think that's going to be cool if they do that. So, I really enjoyed these first two episodes, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the season as soon as I can. I do have at least one question, though. Why does Admiral Janeway only have 3 pips on her uniform? I thought I saw just 3 pips on her uniform, and that would be commander pips, right? Because the captain is 4, and the admirals traditionally had like 8 at one point. They may have changed that later, but they had 4 and 4, 3 and 3, like maybe it was 6. But they had more than 3. So why does she only have 3 pips? That's commander's rank. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Also, what is this entity that warned her off from the wormhole? What's going on there? How much Chakotay are we going to get this season? I don't know. Some of you probably already know, because you probably already watched the whole thing. I only had a chance to watch the first 2 episodes so far. So I'm going to get out of here for now, having said my piece, and go watch more Star Trek Prodigy. I'll be back to do breakdown and review videos for more episodes soon. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.